Welcome back, Patriots, for another episode of The Bald Brad Show. It is officially January 7th. We are just 13 days out from Donald Trump being the next president of American history. Now, it is odd, right? We got Donald Trump, who's about to be the greatest president in American history again. But we also lived through the timeline of having the worst president in American history, and that's Joe Biden. What are the odds that we live through both? That Donald Trump, greatest president, then we get shafted and have to deal with 4 years of Joe Biden, and the Lord felt bad for us, so he came back and gave us Donald Trump again. Look, I'm for the roller coaster ride, but damn, it's been a hell of a freaking decade, has it not? Patriots, it's good to be back with you, and sorry for having the mute button on. We did an episode yesterday, and I had to mute myself to make sure it recorded correctly. But a lot of news to cover nonetheless. Democrats are once again trying to revise history. They're pulling a freaking David Copperfield on all of us. They're coming out saying the border's secure. I know, I'm not making this up. No, I'm not showing you old clips. It's not like we're going back to February or anything like that. No, this is all breaking. Then they go on and espouse a bunch of other nonsense like Kamala Harris is great and all this other stuff and still pushing January 6th. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to cover. We got Donald Trump mocking Justin Trudeau, Canadian Prime Minister that's resigning, or did resign rather. And just a lot of stuff to cover. So hit that like and subscribe button. Really, hitting that like button does support us greatly. What it does is it engages with the channel, and YouTube's algorithm wants to see that, and it forces our videos, our live streams to reach new viewers, new audiences, which means new subscribers and new Patriots. Road to 100,000, my friends. Well, a lot of clips to kick it off today. We got Scott Jennings here, where he just chuckles because you got this dude, I can't even believe it, saying that Donald Trump is going to inherit a secure border. It's real.
When I look at today, Donald Trump is inheriting one of the best economies that a president has inherited in a very long period of time. If you look at the fact that something like net migration at the border is lower than it was even before Donald Trump took office. If you want to look at the stock market, you're looking at the stock market right now.
I'm sorry.
I'm not even finished running it down yet.
This is the first time. The border needs to be secured further, and this number can be accurate.
But this is the first time. I look at today.
I was giddy. I'll be honest. I was like a Girl Scout that sold all her cookies just to show you this clip. Oh, I've been holding on to it for like 24 hours. I just love where he just breaks, right? Because look, they all try to be professional and make it seem like this is a real program that everybody actually cares about CNN. And so, like, Scott's doing his job and he's being professional. And then he just looks at the camera, just breaks the fourth wall. He can't hold it anymore, and he just breaks.
Even before Donald Trump took office, further than it was even before Donald Trump took office. If you want to look at the stock market, you're looking at the stock market right now.
Sorry.
It's a clown show, and then he apologizes because he knows he's not supposed to break. Oh, Scott, thank you so much, sir. You are doing a great service to this country, this nation. Oh man, dude, my face hurts now from laughing. It doesn't stop there. So Chuck Schumer, who we saw yesterday, and speaking of revising history, remember how Chuck, I gotta fix my lighting here. Remember how Chuck goes, Joe Biden's completely fine. Yeah, no, he's sharp. He's a good guy. Remember how he just throws it out there like, he's a good guy. He sniffs children, showers with his daughter. The guy allegedly embezzled millions of dollars, works with the Chinese, the Russians, and the Ukrainians to do some weird stuff with money and movement and all those allegedly things that are being said. We have to say that for legal purposes. So he comes out yesterday and says that Joe Biden's fine. Well, he also came out I'm so sorry. I can't keep it together this episode, clearly. And Chuck Schumer just suggested that Trump encouraged people to do bad things on January 6th.
And that when you lose an election, you roll up your sleeves and try to win the next one. You don't deny that you lost and encourage people to do bad things because you did not want to admit, any person did not want to admit that they had lost the election, even though the facts were overwhelming. And that when
See, when you move your arms like this, you're more believable, is what they told him. I know I'm repeating myself. I just want you to be aware that this guy, less than 48 hours, maybe even 24 hours of saying this, said that Joe Biden's completely fine.
Now that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voice.
Sorry, Mr. President. Mr. President, I was told you told them to do bad things. Hold on, sir. Can you just repeat that for us? I wasn't sure if I heard that correctly. Mr. President, what?
Marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically.
Oh, sir. Mr. President, I could have swore you said to peacefully and patriotically. Hold on a second.
To peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard.
It's weird as hell. Now, I'm not saying everything that came out of January 6th was great, but let's be real here. Even here's his tweet. I'm asking for everyone at the U.S. Capitol to remain peaceful. Weird. So it's like two different things. And no violence. Remember, we are the party of law and order. Respect the law and our great men and women in blue. Thank you. Democrats are going to revise history, folks, and they've been doing it for a long time. Remember, this is the party of slavery. The Democrats are the party of freaking slavery, the party of the Klan, the party of anti-civil rights. It was the Republicans that shaped this country, folks, and made it what it is. It was their ideology that held true to the founders' ideology of all men are created equal, and Democrats still don't believe that, and that's why they push segregation. That's why they push all this racial crap down our throats, whether it's through media or it's through entertainment. So when you do this, you guys just let your husbands and wives know that means you're serious, and then you got to be believed. Believe all believers. So there's Chuck. Now we got more clips of Scott Jennings here, where Scott takes on the Democrat panel here over at CNN, because as I've mentioned, and you guys are going to see this, remember, sometimes we're a year ahead of the news. And what I mean by that is, look, we covered that idea of the whole Taliban giving $87 million a week, or getting $87 million a week, rather, from the Biden administration. Now, if you follow this channel, you would have known that a year ago. Well, now you're going to know ahead of time what the game plan is of the Democrat Party and the strategy here, and what is that's going to be revising history.
Of course, to admit it now would be to effectively be admitting one of the biggest cover-ups in modern American political history.
Yes.
Democrat politicians lied. Democrat pundits lied. A lot of people who cover the White House looked the other way, or believed absolute crap they were being fed by the White House press secretary.
I'm not disagreeing.
Cheap fakes.
Yeah.
So you think about the pantheon of people who were engaged in the lying, believing the lying, or the cover-up itself. To admit it now would be to say, you know what, America, we did try to pull the wool over your eyes and you weren't buying it. I mean, I guess I understand why keeping up the charade now to some degree, because to admit it now would be to admit this massive, huge cover-up.
And it would also be to, kick a guy when he's down. I mean, I think we live in the real world. I mean, and this is politics. He's not going to throw Joe Biden all the way under the bus at this stage.
Yeah, I think if that debate hadn't happened, Joe Biden would have probably still been at the top of the ticket in November. But that debate was telling. And I think anybody who watched it, we all were shocked. We were all also very sad. And anybody who watched it, we all were shocked. We all were shock. We were all also very sad and hurt. I mean, it was hard to watch someone who I've worked for
Me too.
be in that condition. I'll
Come on.
also say I saw the president a month ago, and he's like, "Where you been all day?" You know, it's like so.
Yeah, good days and bad days.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, he just has good days and bad days, you guys. There, it's the wish-washy, is it not? Oh, well, it was so hard to watch him drool into a drip tray and crap his pants on live TV and just be slapped around by Donald Trump for an hour and a half. But I just saw him last week and he was fine. Yeah, he asked me, "Hey, how you been?" Do you notice that when they say things about this guy, it's completely asinine? Like the Chuck Schumer clip. I'm going to keep bringing it up. Yeah, he's completely mentally sharp. Yeah, his acuities, his faculties are all there. Yeah, he's a good guy. That's what they say. It's like there's nothing substantive about Joe Biden. You know what I mean? It's just they just say stuff. Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he's a patriot. That's what Chuck Schumer said yesterday. That's the exact words that he used. No, I just saw him last week. Yeah, no, he wasn't totally there, but I mean, he farted this time instead of pooping. So there's what's going on with CNN right there. Holy Lord. You think we're done yet? You think we're done with Scott? Scott's been doing a freaking victory parade here. So Scott goes back on CNN and he's just ripping CNN panel here. And Van Jones, I'm not a huge fan of, but dude cannot stop smiling this entire time as Scott is just laying down the law.
On this Harris business, I think before we canonize St. Kamala here on the high holy day of January 6th, let's remember the Electoral Count Reform Act of 2022 makes it perfectly clear that the vice president has nothing but purely ministerial duties on this day. She didn't actually certify the results of the election. That's done by the voters and the people of the
It was clear as day 4 years ago as well,
right.
but because of the
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, nobody's trying to canonize her. The same thing was true for
they're
years
not.
ago.
I mean, she put out a video trying to canonize herself.
She was actually just saying it's unremarkable. That's true.
That's the opposite of canonizing.
I want to actually congratulate the Democrats today. This is the first election since 1980.
doing this again.
This is the first election since 1988
Scott,
that a Republican won, and Democrats did not try to overturn the results on the floor of the Congress. So congratulations, Democrats.
I'm only interrupting you because we've heard this before.
We've played this.
Look at this space right here. Yep, because he knows it's right. He is spot on. Democrats are finally able to certify election without going, well, it's stolen or it's wrong. Trump does it, all of a sudden it's a big deal, right? Oh, how could you do that, Donald? How could you say it's not legit? Democrats have been doing it this entire time. Democrats have been doing it for so long that they're still doing it. With Stacey Abrams over there in Georgia, I still think she's governor all these years later. You have folks, Hillary Clinton still can't believe she lost. Donald Trump smacked her so hard. Remember how she went off into the middle of the woods? Nobody could find her. And she was like, there's this guy just on like a trail, like a hiking trail. And he just sees this like thing coming out of the woods. He's like, holy crap, I got Bigfoot. And he like pulls out his camcorder. He's like, doo! And he's recording. He's like, be very, very quiet. And then, lo and behold, it's Hillary. She's a little god golem coming out of the woods. And she's like, I won. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bitch? Get away from me. Now, I embellished it a little bit, but not much. Not much. She really did go to the woods. She wrote an entire book on how she thought she won and blamed everybody else other than herself. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's a pretty close story, you know. Well, we got Joey here of a little bit of an update of what took place the other day where no, he didn't crap his pants, but he yelled at a bunch of people. We've broken so many stories about Joe yelling at his own staffers, cussing people out in the White House. He is unhinged is what I've heard. And I know we hear that phrase a lot, like, oh, he's unhinged. Oh, he's so messed up. No, this guy just starts shouting, and we've seen it on camera. And as I've always said, if you see all this stuff on camera, take it to the next level behind closed doors. And so, if you recall, Jackie Heinrich asked Joe Biden, hey, is Donald Trump still a threat to democracy? And then he just started kind of shouting a little bit later. And he said this, I might be the oldest. Hold on, let me do it. I might be the oldest president. I know more world leaders, I know more world leaders than any of you ever met in your goddamn life. And that's what he did. That little pause too. That was Joe. He pulled a Mitch McConnell. Biden scolds reporters at the White House. I might be the oldest president, but I know more world leaders than any one of you ever met in your goddamn life. I mean, Joe knows so many world leaders, you guys. He's talking to dead people that were world leaders. That guy I always talk about, I forgot. I think it was like the president of France or some shit like 40 years ago. Yeah, Joe talks to him too. He knows a lot of world leaders. Yes, he does. Remember, Biden has made similar remarks in the past, one calling a female college student a lying dog-faced pony soldier. I'm surprised he can even get all those out without slurring his words. And then he called Peter Doocy a son of a bitch. We all remember that one. Well, people have come out of the woodworks and said Biden has been an arrogant jerk his entire political career. None of this is new. His severe dementia just makes it harder for him to mask what an awful person he actually is. That comes from the Federalist, Sean Davis, and the man's never been more spot on in his entire life. I like the Federalist, and I like Sean. So well done there, sir. Link Lauren says this is the real Biden they've tried to hide from you for years. Short-tempered, vindictive, petty. He's not really this sweet grandpa, though that's the image the White House pushes outwardly. Oh, they push a lot of images of Joe. Let me tell you, some of them good, some of them bad. The most civil, decent, devoutly Catholic president we've ever had, rolling the eyes, and that comes from Scott himself. Scott is just doing the Lord's work right now. The man deserves a freaking prize. Give him that. Joe Biden should give him the civilian Medal of Honor thingy that he gave Hillary and Denzel Washington and a bunch of other nobodies. It's about the character of the president, Joe Biden. Remember how they all talk about the Democrats prance around on CNN and talk about how we can't corrupt the White House. The Oval Office is a sanctified area. A sanctified area that Bill Clinton got a little in. Yeah. Can you imagine another 4 years? Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer asked. I forgot Sean was White House Press Secretary. Oh, Lordy. It was just a few months, short months, that the entire media was saying that questions about Biden's age and mental fitness were conspiracy theories, correct, and cheap fakes. And they always stop there. Nobody ever finishes the clip. She does say deep fakes. Karine Jean-Pierre, White House Press Secretary, after she says cheap fakes, if you continue playing the clip, she does say deep fakes. It's so wonderful and positive that the media is so dedicated to helping their political party, journalist Ian Miller stated. So, wanted to make sure I give you guys an update on what everybody was saying about Joe Biden after he lashed out on a reporter. But he's a sweet grandpa. Yeah, I know he smells like an old person and he takes care of people and he's going to take care of the American people. I hate you. Like, that's how he pretends, right? Shit. Oh, God. Well, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, we're not done yet, but we do this every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and hitting that like button does amazing things for us. And when you do amazing things for us, you feel good about yourself. So hit that like button. Hit that like button. Now, Dem leaders had to do something for January 6th, right? They had to memorialize this day in some way, shape, or form. And they had to perform like a theatric. And they're used to doing things like this. And what do I mean by that? Is remember how Nancy Pelosi wore that African garb and then they got on one knee and did their whole shebang inside the Capitol and made it a whole spectacle? Well, they did something similar here. And what they do was Dem leaders hold a January 6th prayer session. Now that is rich. I say it's rich because the Democrat Party is full-blown for pro-abortion. It's difficult to be a religious person and be cool with killing babies. It's tough. You could do it. I mean, the pretzel, and then you just got to do it. I don't know how it works, but it works. And so they got to make a spectacle of it because nobody believes in it anymore. There was a poll that came out and was like, oh, it turns out that, well, a lot of Americans don't really think January 6th was as bad as they said it was. Now, I'm all for prayer, but we know why they're doing this. So here's just a teensy little bit of the prayer.
In a way that allows for peace and for conversation and for reconciliation, for an opportunity for us to look back on our memories wherever we were that day, whether we were on the floor, whether we were carrying a camera or a microphone, whether we were in uniform, protecting those whom we serve.
Chuck Schumer just goes up in flames.
Whomever we were, whomever we find ourselves to be today, we ask that you would in some way transform our memories, that the blessing that we would have would be to be the reminder of the calling to which you have called us, to serve you carefully and faithfully, to deal with all that comes across the threshold, enemies within, enemies from without our own country.
All right, so as you can see, it goes on, and then Chuck Schumer wants to gaslight all of you and revise history, which we saw. It's just the spectacle and the charades that they love to pull is relentless. And if you think all this is bad, it's going to ramp up when Donald Trump's in office, because if Donald Trump does everything he says he's going to do, and I hope he does, mind you, I like to brag about this, but I voted for the guy 3 times. I was a Trumpy back in 2015, 2016. In California, by the way, which wasn't always the safest place to be as a Trump supporter. Well, you have here the possibility of Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth, and basically the entire brigade that's coming out working for Donald Trump and the American people, releasing probably a lot of bad things about what our government has done, as well as the Democrat Party, and quite frankly, maybe even Republicans. So they're crapping their pants. And what are they going to have to do? It never happened. It's not real. And like I mentioned yesterday, if they're holding a red pen and you say it's red, you're wrong. It's a blue pen. And according to the Democrat Party, if you say anything otherwise, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're a liar, not them. So Donald Trump is right. Democrats are wrong. And CNN realized it 2 months ago, or 2 months late, too late rather, that Americans don't care about January 6th. Correct. Yeah, correct. I don't know why they're so late on this. But again, the American people don't care really about January 6th as much as the mainstream media and the Democrat Party played out to be.
On Donald Trump and his responsibility for January 6th have changed, including how people feel he should be perceived politically, yes?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. You know, I think if you go back, 4 years ago, right, Trump's role on January 6, 2021 should make him ineligible to be president. The clear majority of voters said yes, 56%, and that was including removal from office. But of course, Donald Trump won the presidency, and part of the reason why was because views on Trump completely shifted, including Trump's role on January 6, 2021, should make him ineligible for the presidency. By 2023, 2024, it was just 47%. So we saw this drop of about 9 points, and that, of course, is all the difference in the world, going from a majority to short of a majority. And, of course, Donald Trump won the vast majority of the other 53% who did not believe that his role on January 6th would make him ineligible for the.
This is probably a high number, by the way, because it's CNN. People don't care as much as the media is making it out to be. And if anybody just believes in anything the media says, I mean, that should raise your antennas right there. And I don't even expect you guys to believe everything that I say. You can do your own research. We try to show the receipts. It makes it difficult at times because I ad-lib all this. It's not scripted. I don't have a notebook in front of me. It sounds bad. There's not much preparation in the way of like me reading through the articles and going back in history and trying to figure things out and what happened, what didn't happen. This is all ad-lib. I pull everything off the top of my head. It's not a bragging thing. I'm not like, oh, look how great I am. I'm merely pointing out that when I pull things out of my you-know-what, that have happened in the past, I can't exactly bring it up in real time. That's not a very fun show of going, oh, well, hold on a second. Let me type all that in and let me show you so you can believe me. A lot of this stuff is articles and news that we've covered in the past here in the show that hopefully you can recall in your memory and remember that we covered it. So when I was saying, recall your memory, I just thought of Joe. I don't think he's able to do that. I don't think he's able to recall anything. Well, we got Canada in the news. Blame Canada. Blame Canada. Well, Pierre, who's part of kind of the Conservative Party, torches Justin Trudeau as his political career goes down in flames. This is kind of like who everybody wants. This is like the Trump of Canada, basically. And I think this guy secretly really likes Trump, and that he's already come out and said, look, we do a lot of our trade with America. We need to make things work. But he also kept emphasizing, look, I want to put Canada first. Canada's my number one priority. And then he goes, but we also have the United States to the south of us, and they're like 60% of our trade. So we kind of got to do things that Trump wants. And then he emphasized the things that Trump wants isn't even a big deal. God forbid that we secure our borders. Oh, well, it's so terrible. God, we can't really. Trump has very reasonable expectations from the Canadian government. It's not too far out of the realm of like, hey, can you stop maybe sending illegal immigrants to our country through the northern border? That'd be great. Could you do that? I think everybody's for not having criminals crossing over through each other's borders. I think everybody's behind that. Well, he reacted to the far left Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's announcement that he was resigning by saying that the resignation changes nothing, which is actually true, by the way. His resignation doesn't change anything. He's still the Prime Minister. He's just resigning, from my understanding, from the party, the left party of what's taking place in Canada. So the election isn't till October. We got a while here, and he'll probably win in a landslide, but Justin's still there. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today, and every political or potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. And you're seeing the same thing take place with the Democrat Party, is they've helped every leftist progressive try to destroy this country for the last 12 years that they've had rule. Democrats have had leadership for the majority of the past 12 plus years. So what's their excuse? And that's why they don't have anybody to put up on their bench that's even close to being moderate. Folks, the closest person they had, they're like, let's put up Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is one of the most leftist senators out there. She sucks. That's the best they had. Think about all the people they could have chosen, and they picked Kamala. Think of all the people they could have picked, and they picked Joe Biden. That's the best they got. But nothing's changed, and all Liberal politicians actively work to pass into the job-killing inflationary carbon tax. The carbon tax Carney endorsed his book. So that's what was going on there, and we have Pierre doing the Lord's work here.
Chapter in our day. Canadians desperate to turn the page on this dark chapter in our history might be relieved today that Justin Trudeau is finally leaving. But what has really changed? Every Liberal MP in power today and every potential Liberal leadership contender fighting for the top job helped Justin Trudeau break the country over the last 9 years. All Liberal politicians actively worked to pass into law the job-killing inflationary carbon tax, a tax that carbon tax Carney endorsed in his book. All supported a law quadrupling the tax over the next 5 years. All voted for or actively supported Trudeau's out-of-control spending, debt, and immigration. All passed Trudeau's housing policies that doubled the cost of homes. All Liberal politicians.
This guy's good, man. This guy is really, really good. I like him a lot. I really do. And I don't know if y'all remember this clip from him. He's eating an apple in an orchard, and just watch how he deals with this reporter.
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean?
Well, appealing to people's more emotional levels, I would guess. I mean, certainly you tap very strong ideological language quite frequently.
Like what?
Left wing, this and that, right wing. I mean, it's that type of ideological spectrum.
I never really talk about left
but
or right.
Anyways, a lot of people
don't really believe in that.
Okay, a lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Like which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but
like who?
I don't know who, but
well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody.
Okay, I'm sure there's some out there, but anyways, the point of this question is, I mean, why should Canadians trust you with their vote, given,
It is a remarkable thing that he's asking somebody about trust when he himself can't answer a single question about the question that he's asking. But you're supposed to trust this guy, but not this guy. Unbelievable.
Not just the sort of ideological inclination in terms of taking the page out of Donald Trump's book, but
what are you
also
talking about? What page? What page? Can you give me a page? Give me the page. You keep saying
in terms of turning things quite dramatically in terms of Trudeau and the left wing and all of this. I mean, you make quite a it's quite a play that you make on it. So I'm
not sure. I don't know what your question is.
Then forget that. Why should Canadians trust you with their vote?
Common sense.
Okay.
Common sense for a change. We're going to make common sense common in this country. We don't have any common sense in the current government. The guy prints $600 billion, grows our money supply by 32% in 3 years. That's growing the money 8 times faster than the economy. No wonder we have the worst inflation in 4 decades. I'm going to cap spending, cut waste, so that we can balance the budget and bring down inflation and interest rates. You'll want to be able to pay your mortgage again? You want to be able to afford rent? Then you have to vote for Pierre Poilievre, because I'm the only one with a common sense plan that will bring back the buying power of your paycheck.
God, the guy's good. He's good. He's the Trump of Canada. And a lot of people see it. And if you notice, it's always the left that destroys countries. That's why we wrote an entire book on it. I wouldn't write a book if I didn't believe it. You guys, it's not easy to write a book, I'll be honest. And that's one reason why I've written a couple and haven't published them and stuff like that. But you got to write something you really believe in. You know what I mean? Or else you're never going to get through it. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time and, a lot of patience. I really do believe the left is trying to destroy America. We do an entire podcast basically about how the left is trying to destroy this country. Well, they're also trying to do it to Canada, like Argentina, South America. I mean, they're doing it all over the globe, folks. And you're seeing a massive shift here. I don't know what happened. And I keep saying this. I used to say somebody stepped on the butterfly and we went into an alternate universe to where everything is asked backwards. There's no common sense. And I swear somebody time traveled. They did some crazy crap. And now we're back here and things seem normal again. A man is a man and a woman is a woman for the most part from what we're seeing. And I'm saying for the most part because there's still some psychos, NPCs out there that think otherwise. A man is a man, a woman is a woman. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. I mean, well, it wasn't just Pierre coming out of the woodworks. So was Donald Trump. And Pierre probably called Donald and Donald goes, "Hello, Pierre. Hello. We're reaming Justin today. Hold on a second. Let me look at my schedule. I'm open. I'm open to slap the crap out of that smug face of his. Did you smack him, Pierre? How good? Tell Daddy how good you smacked him." I didn't forget you, Q. I see you with the $10. Thank you so much. You're on fire today, Brad Raffle. Thank you. I haven't heard somebody say rolling on the floor laughing out loud in a very long time. So shout out to you for bringing that back. Making slogans great again. So Trump mocks Trudeau here. Hey, Justin. How you doing? Oh, I love Trump. Well, President-elect Donald Trump mocked far-left Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on Monday after the failed leader announced that the news of him resigning, which we did cover yesterday morning. I said, oh, it's either going to happen during the show, after the show, sometime soon. So what did Trump say? Many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies of Canada, and they need to stay afloat. Justin knew this. He knew bigly, and he resigned. What a coward. What? I can't do it. If Canada merged with the U.S., there'd be no tariffs. Taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Trump added together what a great nation it would be. Trump has regularly taunted Trudeau over the last couple of months. Trudeau, you're my bitch, buddy. So here's Trump also blasting Joe Biden's war in the last 2 weeks. We'll get to that in just one moment. Again, folks, if you can hit that like and subscribe button, it does greatly help. Really hitting that like button does tremendous things for us. There is a plug that I would love to do, a sponsor here called Be Naked No. We're not talking about Joe Biden walking around the White House. We're talking about that in today's society, it's tough to be a man in a world dominated by overly masculine liberal women. That's just not how it's meant to be, folks. Everywhere we look, it's gender neutral, this product, or made for her, that product. That is why we started a company that embodies the ethos of men. Lives matter too. With products that aren't designed to be gender neutral or used by people with pronouns, our products at Rumble are designed and built for men, by men, period. If you struggle with low energy, mood swings, or hair loss, that's me. Or if you need to perform better at the gym, maybe in bed, that might be some of you. I know Joe might be listening to this, and recover quicker after. Throw out all other garbage supplements and try animal organs. They are traditionally the most nutrient-rich supplements on the planet, but our bison organs are a step above. The grass-fed, non-vaccinated bison are a species where the weak are allowed to die and only the strongest survive. So here's our commitment to you from men who have real confidence in their products. Try this today, and if you don't like it, well, return it for a refund. Go to benaked.com, code STUDIO, and get 15% off. Folks, that is benaked.com, code STUDIO. Get 15% off today, folks. Check that out. Be naked or be unnaked. So we'll get to a little bit of Joe Biden here in one moment. But one thing I did want to cover was The View. Now, part of the show is not just trending news today, right? And it's not just about Donald Trump, but it's also, again, with the theme of revisionist history. They're going to do this. And it can't just be the Democrat politicians coming out and doing this. They need the help of the media. They need the help of the entertainment industry. You're going to start seeing movies that are going to completely fabricate things that never actually happened. But because it's in movies, and because now they're going to start putting it in like a Howard Zinn style textbook of U.S. history, they're going to revise it. They're going to teach your kids about January 6th of how crazy it was. They're going to teach your kids about COVID-19, and they're going to completely fabricate it and lie about it. In the same way they still do today, talking about slavery. You guys, they don't teach in school the specifics of slavery, that it was the Democrat Party that were the ones that wanted to keep slavery in. The reason why is because the person teaching it is a Democrat. They're a progressive lefty, most likely, and they don't want to look bad because then they have to recognize the fact that they're still supporting a party that was pro-slavery and still is pro-slavery on a more metaphorical type of ideology today. And they have to come to grips and terms with that. So they don't teach that it was the Democrat North, the Democrat South going against the Republican North. They don't talk about that. Oh, no. They don't talk about anything that remotely makes the Democrat Party look bad. So case in point here, what you're seeing in terms of the revisionist history, you have Sunny Hostin blasted for January 6th Holocaust remarks. When you hear what she said, it's not even an analogy. I don't know what the hell she was thinking. And this person prays that she's smart. So Here we go. It's so cringy, man. It's so cringe.
I think we need to find moral clarity, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th, you had someone like Mitch McConnell placing the blame on January 6th where it belonged, squarely on Donald Trump's shoulders. And then you started seeing people backtrack that and losing their moral center. You had Condoleezza Rice, I believe, on this very show saying, we need to move on from January 6th. I say no. You don't move on, because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened, like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, we need to never forget, because past becomes prologue if you forget any race.
Folks, this sums up the psychos on The View. And you got to love the opener, right? You have to love how she sets the stage for this.
I think we need to find moral clarity, in this country. And I just remember after January 6th.
We need to find moral clarity. And then she goes on and says that. You don't move on from the riot that took place at the Capitol on January 6th. You don't move on because January 6th was an atrocity. It was one of the worst moments in American history. And when you think about the worst moments in American history, like World War II, things that happened like the Holocaust, chattel slavery, like what? What? You're going to compare January 6th to World War II and the Holocaust? Oh my God. Yo, I'm sorry. Yo, that's far out there, boys. Ladies, that is some Joe Biden out there. What were people saying? Left-wingers are so mentally deranged that they think a 3-hour riot where no one was killed except by police is comparable to the Holocaust. The Holocaust. Clay Travis is the dumbest person on daily TV. Sunny hosting compares January 6, 2021 to the Holocaust. Says it was similarly bad. We got a Patriot PT-302 that just had a hip replacement that did well, by the way. I'm glad that he's recovering. He served in World War II. I really wish he was online right now that could tell us what he thought of this. The man's lived through World War II and January 6th. I think he can help us compare which one was worse. Dude sitting there storming the beaches while people were storming the Capitol, being escorted around by Capitol Police into different rooms and taking selfies. How stupid everything has become, correct. I don't know about you, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I think America did pretty damn good winning World War II. I would think so too, but the people of The View just are kind of gone. They've lost their marbles. They're not with us, folks. They're well, I don't know where they are, and I don't know how they got there in their life, but this is their brain. It's mush. It's entangled. It's kind of like Christmas Vacation, where Chevy Chase drops in front of Rusty the bag of, or the bundle of lights, and they got to untwine them all and unravel them. That's think of that as a leftist brain. All the lights. And here's the kicker. Say you do unravel it and it starts going like this and you figured it out. Well, the lights ain't going to work. You got to figure out which bulb is off. Good luck with that one. Well, Trump reverses Biden's ridiculous policy moves from his final days in office. So this is good. I like this. Now, as we all know, Biden's trying to sabotage U.S. energy production and the southern border by selling off border wall. There's no reason to do that other than you want to sabotage the incoming president and, quite frankly, the American people. Well, Donald Trump signaled on Monday that he will quickly reverse President Joe Biden's ridiculous policy moves from his final days in office. Trump made the remarks during an interview with conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt, while talking about Biden's decision this week to ban new oil and gas leasing across 625 million acres of U.S. ocean. Now, we covered this yesterday. This is an update for all of you that, remember, Joey wants to stop the energy production here in America, which I'll be honest, he is following suit with what he promised. Remember on the campaign trail back in 2019, he said he wanted to remove all fossil fuels. He wanted to get rid of the fossil fuel industry. So he's just living up to what he's doing, or what his ideology is, or what he wants to, what his base wants of him. So I get it. I don't like it, but here's Donald Trump going to reverse course.
But do you think he's competent for the last 2 weeks, Mr. President?
Well, the things he's doing with Soros and other elements, giving very, very important, distinguished awards, medals, and certifying that they are wonderful people for our nation. These are people that have done tremendous harm in cases. I don't know. I really don't believe that this is the same man that I used to watch 25 years ago. He was sort of semi-conservative. I wouldn't call him conservative, but he was a little bit in the middle at least. And now he's gone radical left, and they just lost an election because they were radical left, and they're going to lose another one. They're going to lose a lot of elections if they keep this going. But you're giving up the biggest assets that we have. I mean, all of that, if you ever look at it on a map, what 625 million acres is, he's giving this all up. And
it's extraordinary. And I think it's an abuse of that statute, and I do think you can reverse it if not.
The good news is I can change it immediately. Yeah. It'll be changed on day one. I can change it immediately. Now, they'll do everything they can to make it as difficult as possible. They talk about a transition. They're always saying, oh, no, we want to have a smooth transition from party to party of government. Well, they're making it really difficult. They're throwing everything they can in the way. They're giving out trillions of dollars in nonsense, in Green New Deal crap that isn't worth a damn thing. In fact, it's a negative for the country, not a positive. And they're giving out money at levels that nobody's ever seen just to get the money. They're throwing it at people.
They're throwing it at Syria this morning. The State Department announced this morning they're sending humanitarian aid to Syria. We don't know who's running Syria. I don't know who's running the State Department, but it's kind of crazy.
It's what they're doing. They're just taking money and throwing it hand over fist. It's money that should have never been given to them anyway. It should have been blocked. And I mean, it's sad, so sad that they got it, but they're throwing it, and they're throwing it in any direction. They just want to get rid of it. It's the worst abuse of power I've ever seen.
So, Mr. President,
he's not wrong, man. And Trump is sounding so presidential now. I'm not saying he did it in the past. I'm just liking the way he's The Trump now is the Trump that I had in my mind. And what I mean by that is we all grew up with The Apprentice, or we watched it. We know he's a businessman. He just sounds like a businessman right now. He's calm, he's collected, and he's just like, look, we got to turn this around. And what you're seeing from these guys over here is screwing us over. It's great to see this. He's not necessarily going after people, right? Name calling. This is what is going to, I think, gather more people and bring them to the Republican side of the aisle, is this type of way that he's talking and doing great things. So not only is he walking the walk, but he's talking the talk right now. And I hope that carries forward. Now, a little bit of, I don't know if this is redemption or how I want to call this or treat it, but it was just nice seeing Kamala preside as Congress certifies Trump 2024 victory. It's so good. And Mike Johnson's, his face in the background is like pure gold. It is pure gold. And so here she is announcing it. And look, I'm a giddy schoolgirl for this type of stuff. It's like I just sold all my cookies. And here she is.
The state of the vote for the President of the United States, as delivered to the President of the Senate, is as follows.
Watch Mike Johnson.
The whole number of the electors appointed to vote for President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, the majority is 270. The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D. Harris Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Why are they clapping for that? Why would you be clapping? You lost. Woo! We lost. Why are you laughing? Or not laughing. Why are you clapping for that? I'm laughing.
The whole number of electors appointed to vote for Vice President of the United States is 538. Within that whole number, a majority is 270. The votes for Vice President of the United States are as follows. J.D. Vance.
Kind of go forward a little bit. So happy.
Senate shall be deemed a sufficient declaration of the persons elected, President and Vice President of the United States, each for a term beginning on the 20th day of January 2025, and shall be entered together with the list of the votes on the journals of the House and the Senate. Thank you very much.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good. Well, we only have 13 days. 13 days. What am I going to do if I'm at work and Trump's inaugurated? I got to be there for it. I got to be there for it. Clapping for the loss. Yeah, isn't that weird? It's just I don't get it. I don't get it. One thing I want to throw at you guys that's kind of trending right now. We have a lot of news to cover still, but I want to make sure I get to this. Is China's pulling a maneuver again? This is as of this morning, like less than 4 hours ago. CDC is monitoring possible spike of HMPV cases in China. It's from China. So China might be unleashing a new virus upon the globe here. So the Centers of Disease Control is closely monitoring reports of a spike in human metapneumovirus. I did a great job. It's a virus, which was discovered in 2001, is common but undiagnosed due to its similarities to the common cold. According to CDC, cases of the virus in the United States are at pre-pandemic levels and not a cause for concern at the moment. Remember how they were trying to kind of push forward with bird flu and like, you need to be vaxxed and make sure we do mass vaccinations, vax this, vax that. But there's a large spike in northern China, especially children 14 years and younger. The Chinese government officials said the reported spike coincides with seasonal illness and seems to be less severe than in other years. But if you watch the media, man, it almost seems like they're trying to do that fear mongering again, where everybody needs to shelter in 14 days, be careful, put on a mask. Respiratory infections tend to peak during the winter season. This doctor, a medical epidemiologist in the CDC's Division of Viral Diseases, said HMPV is associated with approximately 20,000 hospitalizations among children younger than 5 years. The virus can be a cause for concern in older adults and immunocompromised patients. Wanted to make sure I bring awareness to that. And if you wanted to check out some other news that's taking place today, Mark Zuckerberg has come out, and Meta ends fact-checking program as Zuckerberg vows to restore free expression on Facebook. So I'm not going to go over this because we got to end the show here. But here's some, at least check out the news and you can do like some side reading, or at least you're aware of it, because a lot of people are going to be talking about Meta right now. And why don't I do this for all of you? Something I've been wanting to kind of do before we end here is just kind of show you what is trending right now in the news. So when you go to your next podcast or you're looking for something, this is what's trending right now. So Meta switches to community-driven moderation. That's what we just kind of highlighted really quickly. Trump Jr. is in Greenland right now amid speculation of territory's future. There's conversation about seriously purchasing Greenland. I thought it was a joke at first. No, it seems like they're pretty serious about this. They're wanting to remove themselves from Denmark. So we'll see what goes on with that. You have Pierre's plan to combat inflation, which we did watch. Elon Musk's Liverpool FC Association ambitions. I'm not familiar with that. NVIDIA launched a new card. And yeah, so that's kind of what's trending currently. We will be back here tomorrow, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for another episode of The Bald Brad. We'll see what's in the news, folks, but we'll be one step closer, one day closer to Donald Trump being the 47th president of the United States of America. That is our big gift that the Lord has bestowed upon us, and hopefully he follows through with everything he says he's going to do. Again, hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Send your video, or our video, I guess I should say, out to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel, and would greatly appreciate all the effort. So we also have a membership, 99 cents a month, $4.99, $9.99 if you want to go super sane. We're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. To do that, we got to do advertising, and any help you can would be greatly appreciated. Or you just watching the show. That's perfect too. So I'm out of here. Gotta go. Appreciate you guys. Take care.